Morning. I gotta admit, this morning I'm struggling. We ended up with, because of work, having a 4-day weekend, and now I'm looking down the barrel of not only going back into work, but we're coming to the end of alternating working from home, and so now it's going to be me for probably about a week and a half or 2 weeks straight going into the office, and it's been a while since I've made that kind of commute. But I was reminded of something that we had in our Sunday morning Bible study Sunday. The discussion was about hope, and hope is about things yet to come, and honestly, a lot of times we can get tangled up in our hopes about what's going to happen in the future, or we can just get overwhelmed with all the things that we're facing coming up. And it reminds me of something. One, there's a verse and passage, it's actually in the love chapter, and it says, "These three things remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." And you're like, well, aren't they all about the same? It's a matter of the fact that the other two eventually will subside and not be as necessary, because faith, eventually you'll see the source of your faith, and so then you don't really have to have faith when you're in the presence of the source of your faith. Then there's hope. Hope is usually towards things that are to come, or when those things have come to pass, what need is there for hoping about them? But love is a thing that you'll need no matter what. And so when you think about those things, it reminds me of another discussion within fitness, running, ultra running especially, about living in the moment. A lot of times people say, how can you do those huge distances or miles? Well, I hadn't done any in quite a while, but when I was doing them, there was one thing that was almost an absolute, if you're going to do even just a 50K, when it comes to ultramilers, that's 31 miles. A marathon's only 26.2 miles by comparison, so you basically got about 5 more miles than a marathon when you're doing a 50K. But you can't, even when you're doing a marathon, you can't focus on how many miles are left to go. And if you start thinking that way, you mentally beat yourself before you've ever gotten going. And it's happened to me a few times in races. I've got the ever so dreaded DNF, or did not finish, because I got in my own head and just it became an insurmountable thing before I even got to that point. And so they have a saying, run the mile that you're in. In other words, be mindful of the present, what's going on with your body, what's going on with what you're doing right then, and let tomorrow worry about tomorrow, or the miles ahead worry about the miles ahead. The miles in the past, if there are mistakes or if there are things to be learn from them, move on, and try not to make those same mistakes in the present. But that's kind of the relationship, faith, hope, and love. Our faith is based on the experience of how we have walked with different things in the past. Our hope is our belief in what can happen in the future. But our love is that steam and that engine, our passion that drives us for the things that we're facing day by day. So, just a little thought. Till next time, keep it PG.